So Chris, man, you know how they say a magician never reveals his tricks or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, the same can't be said for comedians because now we got the answer. I was always wondering why, for one, Ellie always on joke time, but two, she got little joke books and stuff that I was like, yo, that's just a part of her personality. But now we see the behind the scenes of like how that actually happened. And I'm like, yo, they don't even make her like that no more. Like I never even seen something like that before. And it's just, it was funny to me seeing this flashback because we haven't got a lot of these, right? But it was just, it was a slow burn. It was a slow burn, but we'll get into it, man. Welcome back to the Why I'm Geek show with your boy G and ChrisyLite. What's good, Chris? What's poppin'?
Oh, I just got done watching this episode, so it's fresh in my brain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's episode 86, and yeah, man, this is a new episode of The Last of Us. We haven't had a chance to talk about it yet because we both literally just watched it. Like,
Oh, you did?
I did too. Like, I right before we got on here, I just finished up pretty much like 10 minutes before we got the podcast going. But man, first impressions. What did you think of this thing? Because we left off on a doozy.
Man. I gotta admit, I was pretty bored this episode.
Yeah.
Partly because it was boring and slow,
Mm-hmm.
and partly because it's exactly the same episode or same DLC from The Last of Us. Can't remember what it's called.
I don't know.
It's the DLC version.
Okay.
And I swear, like every single thing was exactly the same. I could just predict everything happening, and
Dang.
it was just. I just grabbed my phone and was like, "All right, we ain't getting nowhere with this Joel opening up scene,
Right.
right here." Because that's like the main thing I really wanted to get into, and then it was like, "Oh, we're doing the DLC." So
yeah, but also like,
how'd you feel about it?
I mean, I was bored too. I'm not gonna care. I was like, "Damn, this joint is still going." I was excited to finally see Riley because
Riley. Okay.
Yeah. What did you say?
I was like, it end.
Oh,
like cut off. I was like, all
right. Nah. Cause they advertised Riley in the trailer and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh, Storm Reed's in this, and I don't really remember her character from like what I've seen in the different playthroughs that I watched, but this joint was pretty straightforward. I mean, I like the idea of like, you know, the four wonders of the world or whatever, because Ellie gets excited over the like littlest things that, you know, you wouldn't think you would get excited over. But like you said, man, like this one was like pretty closed door. What? How you say it? Shut and close or whatever.
open and shut. Yeah.
Open and shut. Yeah. When it comes to like what's next and like, okay, what could they possibly have in them all? You know what I'm saying? I think the only thing that I wasn't expecting was the Halloween shop. Like I was like, when that happened, I was like, I was ready for her to just come back and just start fighting the zombie. That's what I was expecting. Not necessarily to be like, you know, the sentimental part of the whole thing. But I mean, oh man, what else can we say about this joint, bro? Like, they just went on a date. Like
yeah, it's a little weird. Like to me, the episode is so slow, and because I experienced it already, I really don't know how it worked for like someone who hasn't seen it. But the fact that you're saying it was also slow for you,
Yeah.
overall, like I feel like this is a needed episode because it kind of shows Ellie's backstory and why she is the way she is.
Right.
And you know, I mean, we get the whole origin story of how she got the bite, you know?
That's while you were talking, I literally had that epiphany of like, yo, something did actually happen. We got to see where she got the bite from. And I literally, maybe just because I'm like still processing what I just saw, but because I already knew she was gonna survive, it didn't hit like I thought it would hit when you would see it, you know? Because I always thought it would be more of her like telling a story of like how she got bit and then like starting to see it. I never thought that it would be like, dang, both of them got bit at the same time, you know? And um, I wanted to see more of like Riley's Firefly journey or whatever, or something like that, where we got to see like, you know, Marlene not only recruit her while she's telling Ellie the story, like just some B-roll of like how it actually happened and went down. And for this to kind of be the foreshadowing of like the first initial episode where, you know, Ellie, Joel, and what's her name?
Yes.
Tess. Um, we see, you know, Joel freaking go crazy on the guard. It was just like, oh, okay, Ellie's done been in some stuff prior to this, and she doesn't really want to get into what actually happened, how she got bit. So I can see why now, like she wouldn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like that's not only just traumatic in general, but you also lost your best friend in the
Yeah.
midst of that. So it's like, dang, like that's rough. Like I feel like I got that sentiment more than anything. And then, you know, Joe doesn't say anything in this joint. And it's understandable. He got stabbed. He's dying at this point. But uh I like this because the episode is titled Left Behind. I like that as that being the title, and then, you know, Ellie having a moment of like, yo, I can't just go, you know, because I thought it was like, oh, maybe they're close enough, like they rode far enough to where they're in range of the camp where she can go get them within an hour or 30 minutes or whatever, and they come back type beat. But it don't seem like that was what Joe was trying to say. It's just I was like, yo, go ahead and leave me, you know,
Mm.
type beat. So like, what did you think of that part?
I mean, that was like the interesting part for me, like,
Yeah.
and just knowing how the episode started and where we were
Mm-hmm.
going, I just knew I wasn't gonna get the episode I really want, which is like the next episode. And I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe there's like two more, like two total left in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like I sort of thought we would just be going after such that big high, that big cliff from the last episode, and we would
Yeah.
just go straight into that scene. And we get the DLC. So then it's just kind of like, all right, I'm cool with it. It was just like, man, I really wish I got the next episode. You
Right.
know, so I Joel not saying nothing, and you know Ellie about to leave, just ultimately at the end for her to like, no, I'm gonna save Joel. I'm gonna make sure he's good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's really great, but it's just like, dang,
Yeah.
like the beginning and end is just it's the episode I wanted. Like I could have just,
Mm-hmm. I
you
feel
know,
that. I feel that. So like with that being said though, you know, how do you think they're going to handle these next few episodes? Are they going to finish the game within? Because right now, at this point, to me, I don't know where we're at in the game, but to me, it doesn't even feel like halfway. It feels like that like season 2 would be like the ending of the first game. But I don't know. I might be
I
pushing
really
it.
we're getting close. So it's kind of like we're not finishing first game in this.
Yeah.
We're definitely getting close.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
I'm just wondering if they're gonna do this next snow chapter,
Hmm.
uh, and is that gonna be like the finale of season one? Because it's a very good chapter in the game
Hmm.
coming up. But I think we have two episodes left, so it's kind of like maybe they'll do like a two-parter because it's such a good
Hmm.
entry, and then maybe the beginning of season two. You know, we'll keep it going because
Right.
they still have plenty left. But
Yeah. Because that's what I was thinking. Like, even when they announced the second season, like, after the first one came out or whatever, was that um we definitely won't finish the game within the first season if it's only going to be like 10 or so episodes, you know?
yeah.
And that had
And
me
they have the
excited
DLC
because
right in there, so that's pretty nice.
right,
Pretty good.
exactly. And it's like if you're gonna put it anywhere, it makes sense for it to happen there,
Yeah, it
because it's
does.
like, you know, Joel is down and Ellie is trying her best to give him first aid, right? You would think that she would know how to do this, or they would have like some type of
Eh.
kit or something. But the wrestling of the house and like that whole scene, I was like, okay, yeah, I like this type beat. But it was just like at the same time of, you know, seeing her wrestling through everything, I'm like, are you even really looking? Like, because she
Yeah, she
was
opened
going
some
crazy.
cabinets and you could see through it that there was
There
nothing,
was
but she
nothing in it. It
she
was literally wide open. I was like, maybe she's just short. Maybe she couldn't see
yeah, it
it,
could be.
you know? So I don't know, but I thought that was funny. I was just like, yo, she going crazy. And then it's like, how do you even see that if you're just going like 1,000 miles an hour? Um, but you know, obviously Joel passes out from the pain, and then it's just like, all right, we hope she do it right, you know. And
Yeah.
then that's pretty much the episode. But I mean, what do you think of Riley though? Like, is that a L Mans, or is she a dub? I don't think she a dub, but
I mean, I don't hate Riley. It's just
yeah, it's so
it's just
obvious
kind of
though.
showing it's just kind of showing like their past and like how one side would join the Fireflies, one side's on Fedra, and
Yeah.
it, it's just weird for me because it's like I've seen way better episodes in the series, so this one is
Mhm.
just more like backstory groundwork to me.
Okay.
Like, oh, rounding out Ellie's character,
Mhm.
showing her love interest, showing how they got bit, showing
Right.
the cool mall secrets, like just like a fun little kid thing where
Right.
these kids have never interacted with a mall, so they're
Mhm.
freaking out. Showing that fireflies aren't always good, showing that Fedra kind of doesn't even care about getting stuff together. So it's just like
Right.
it's not the meat and potatoes episode that really attracts me. So
Okay.
Riley was cool. It's just kind
Okay.
of like because I already knew her and knew this storyline, I
Yeah.
was just like, meh. Like it's just
I
like
didn't even
intro.
know the storyline, but from the time that she spent and they said, "Oh, we're going to go out." I was like, "Oh, this is where it happens." Like as soon as she got there, broke in, was like ready to go back out. I was like, "Oh, okay. So this is how it's going down." Like,
Yeah,
and after that, it was more so just like, okay, what is she going to show with him? Like or show her. It was just like,
like the Mortal
um,
Kombat scene stuff is cool because like they
yeah,
allude
the
to
scene,
that show and like you said, the book, the joke book,
yeah.
like it's really cool. But it's just
She had
kind
the
of like
poster in the room.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
just all like extra backstory. It feels like a video game DLC.
Yeah.
Like I'm not in it for the meat and potatoes. I just want to round out some more storylines, round out some characters that I really like. Give me some more of this. Give me some more of that.
But
It's kind of like I'm watching it for Harry Potter, but let me
mm,
go ahead and get like a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw arc, like the stuff that's never discussed in the movies, and you're getting these
right.
extra stuff in it. So seeing this episode is like, oh, it's cool, but overall, I'm like, it's
Yeah.
just it's not enough. It's just
I just
because of how big each episode has been.
right. I just thought, like you said, I just thought it would have been tied to something bigger. Like it's
Yeah, it's
one
just the
thing.
bite.
Yeah, it's literally one thing to like, you know, do a flashback, but it's another thing to do a flashback on top of like, oh, we're in a lull moment in the main story plot. So it's like, you know, two slow moments combined to like, without an overall like, dang, is Joel gonna die type thing, or
Yeah,
like,
and
and
we left
it's
the
just
last
hard to
episode off.
believe.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. We left off already knowing that like, dang, Joel is down bad, and he's still
yeah.
down bad. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. This is on the lower end. Like, I hate to say that with Storm reading this joint, but like now, don't get me wrong. I think she had a good performance as far as like her chemistry with Bella Ramsey in this joint, but it was more so like a foregone conclusion what was going to happen. And it
Yeah,
was just like we were waiting. Even the actual like
the
um
whole episode.
quartercept or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I thought it would have been I thought it would have been more dramatic of a like moment.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like, bro, I've been watching this for 40 minutes.
We know it
We know
coming.
it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't even like cut to him like, oh, I hear them. Like they didn't show none of like they show him initially waking up and then it was like boom, he in the room. You know? And I don't know. I don't know. It's just it could have been better. It could have been better. Um but, you know, that's
Came
all.
off like a DLC episode, like
Yeah.
a bonus episode. You know, if we would have had a finale and they say, "Hey, we were gonna release one more episode like 3 weeks later," and we got this,
Mhm.
like you wouldn't be mad at it
Right.
because you'd know like, oh, this was an extra episode. You know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
they just dropped this because they're like, hey, we didn't really know where to fit it in, and like you said, they decided to fit it in between Joel. Is Joel
Mhm.
gonna live? Is Joel gonna die? So it's like I'm not. I don't hate the episode. I do think it's important for Ellie. I'm
Right.
just I was just a little bored the whole time, and because I played the game, I was like, damn, this thing is
Yeah.
exactly the DLC.
Mhm.
So
Okay. But okay. So we done beat that into a pulp, right?
yeah,
But one thing that we haven't really talked about is Fedra and the Fireflies. So at this point, from my perspective, like there's obviously two different ideologies, but I wonder, like, I like the concept of when Riley was speaking to the fact that like, yo, the Fireflies chose me, right? And up until this point, we haven't really gotten that perspective. We've gotten this perspective of like, oh, this the crazy man on the side of the street yelling out nonsense, and then we see Marlene, an organized person that's actually in the fight, and then we see the beginning of Riley, you know, saying like, oh, I finally like found a new family because that's the thing that she lost. So with that being said, um the duality of seeing that and then beginning the episode with um uh Ellie doing drills and seeing her in
that's
actual
cool.
federal custody or whatever, and it's like a whole little school type thing, getting in trouble, going to see the guidance counselor, and just, you know, we get to see two sides of a similar coin. You know, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it's cool because we see that Ellie was like Team Fedra,
Yeah, at
and
this point, at least.
we see also that the Fireflies,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of take advantage of a young 17-year-old girl and have
Mm-hmm.
her posted up with explosives,
Right.
ready to go at a moment's notice. So it's just
Right.
kind of along the themes of that. There's no really good organizations in it. You can look at it both ways. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Fedra does keep it in order and everything going, but are they really changing anything? And the
Right.
Fireflies are trying to change things and get back to normal, kind of like what Riley was saying. But are you doing it for the right reasons? Like, you're just going to be killing soldiers to do
Mm-hmm.
this. So it's just us seeing more of the world, and that's cool. But we just get it told to us from Ellie and
Yeah.
Riley.
Mm-hmm. That was
And it's
one of
sort of this episode seemed like a recruitment video, but then
yeah.
it's not. It's like a date.
Right. Right. Because I even when the game was like first coming out, like the thing that was like really interesting to me was the Fireflies because of like, you know that they're there, but we never really get to see, or at least from what I remember, like not only how it started, but like um what is it actually like,
Yeah.
And I feel like this show was a good opportunity to show that because we get to see what Fedra's like, you know,
Sorta.
like I mean, in the QZ and all the different like, you know,
Yeah, like they give out jobs, and then we
yeah,
see
like
the
that whole
art.
first episode was like
Yeah.
explaining how society works now under Fedra control. So I feel
Yeah.
like I got a
That,
better understanding of that than I do still of the Fireflies, other than what we heard from Riley and then what we know Marlene to be. So I'm still just waiting because of like, to me the beginning of the game and then the end of the game is what I see the most clear. It's just the middle that's real fuzzy. So I'm still trying to connect the dots of like, you know, who was really not the good guy or bad guy, but like um what is it actually like, what's the point? Like I don't know. It's like I want to know more about that group because they're the ones that are the most like tucked away in the lore of it, you know?
yeah, yeah. But
So,
but even like in this episode, I mean, Ellie kind of just breaks down. It's like the same thing. Like,
mhm.
okay, what made you join them? And you know,
She asked one
oh,
question.
they saw something in me, but the main reason was Fedra gave her assignment, and it was just to clean the sewers, and she's just like,
Yeah,
there is no point to this at all, type thing,
right.
But then Ellie's sitting there saying like, well, in a way, we are kind of like keeping everything held together, but it's just kind of like viewing like, but are we? We're just kind of living at this point. We're living in these walls
Yeah.
and just continuing on, but we're not actually trying to do stuff. And the whole point of Marlene getting Ellie to the Fireflies is, they're trying to manufacture a vaccine,
Mhm.
a cure, so
Right.
then they can actually get back to real change. And Fedra's just kind of like, yo, that
Mhm.
ain't happening. Like, get your head out the clouds. Y'all living in delusions. This has
Right.
been going on for years. We've tried that. We've been there, done that.
Right.
Uh,
One is more present and focus on keeping the current system
yeah,
because they're the ones that's in charge versus like making the system better, which would be,
yeah,
but it's just like the methods is where things get iffy. And to me, like one thing that stuck out when Riley was explaining it was like, you know, Ellie, maybe you could, be a leader and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, and before she told him what her actual detail was, and
Mhm.
then it's like I don't think Ellie really got that, like what
Yeah,
she was saying. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you a little white girl, like
yeah,
you might be able to do something, but they're not really rocking with me. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like look at where they put me at. No matter it didn't, because at the end of the day it didn't matter what she did. Like that's just what they thought of her and what was her worth. So I
yeah.
feel like that was a subtle shot in the dark of like, okay, like you know,
Yeah,
this is where
it's
it
also
is.
it's also subtle like that, but
Yeah.
I think mainly like she was trying to convey like they were never gonna like give me an opportunity to try to make change.
Mhm.
But I think that's like overall what we're dealing with in The Last of Us. Like
Yeah.
Fedra's gonna sell you like, oh yeah, at 17 you're gonna get assigned, but what
Right.
does Fedra really do? Like,
Right.
and in Fedra's eyes, it's like, well, there ain't really no point to doing all this exploring and getting a vaccine and
Mhm.
getting a cure for everyone because if I send out these young people out, they're just gonna get infected. It's gonna be more cordyceps. Like
Right.
it's like a endless routine, or there's raiders out there. Like there's just way too many things to deal with. So guess what? We're
Right.
doing these dumb chores. Because I can't. What was Joel's job? He
Joel
just did anything.
was, yeah, he was just trying to get to that bread. He was dumping bodies. He
Dumping
was
bodies. I think he tried to do the
um
sewage work just to cover up his
right.
deal, sneaky
Right.
deal.
Right. But I mean, we also seen, because we didn't talk about it last week. We also um seen a more of a communist side with
Yeah, I mean Fedra has to be like a communist.
no,
Regime.
I'm talking about Tommy, Like it was like a commune.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
even talk about that. Yeah, I forgot we didn't talk about that. But
Yeah.
we saw, I don't want to say the combination of Fedra and the Fireflies, but like, you know, a place where it's well defended, it's publicly, um, like public power or whatever. I don't know the terms, y'all. I'm sorry, but you know, if you see, we seen the episode
Yeah,
where it's more of a,
they
like
tried to make it
everybody
like
helps each other
a
type
real
thing.
life version of what a socialist society would look like if it
Socialist,
was
that's what it is. Yeah,
operating correctly. You
yeah.
know, look, so, some stuff in there, you know.
Right, right. And they threw that at us too. And I was just like, dang, they really making you try like really think about like what side would you really pick and who would you really rock with.
Yeah.
In a subtle way, but it's just like it's undeniable, like especially like when Joel called it out as well. But it's like if you look at it like they look the most happy. You know, out of everybody, they having movie nights and you know they got clothes and they got the protection and they have real lives, and it's like it's closer to what you know society used to look like, but
Uh-oh,
it's like
Socialist G coming out on the
no,
podcast.
no, 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 no. Wait, wait. This is literally what I'm about to say. This is literally what I'm about to say. But at the same time, you don't think about the things that you lose, right? Tommy was finna give it all up. You know what I'm saying? To help his brother out, type thing.
Yep.
And it's just like, yo, like before we even got there, they was like, yo, that's the river of death. You know, like not everybody fit. And the thing about it was that you know Joel said it was like, yo, this might work in this area specifically, but on a larger scale, it's never gonna work because it's too many opinions. So it's like you know you get to see the multiple sides of it, and that's all I'm trying to say. All right, don't come at me. Chris
They
kind of
gonna
throw
get
me
you.
under the bus for some reason. I don't know
Yeah, they
I
gonna
don't know
get
where
you.
this is coming from, but we're
They
gonna
gonna
we're
be
gonna let
like,
it
"Oh,
slide.
it sounds like you agreeing."
No, no, no.
We'll have red pill, blue pill,
Uh-uh.
purple pill in the
I'm
comment
just
section
G.
down
That's it.
below.
Nah, I'm just G over here, bruh. Don't let me convince you of anything. I'm just trying to explain. I'm just trying to say what's happening in the show, what I noticed. You know. Um. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
This show's crazy,
it,
bruh.
yeah, they definitely like to talk about like in this post-apocalyptic world, like there are
Mm-hmm.
still regimes of old governments and how they look like in this
Right.
environment. So,
Right. It's super interesting. Um, I guess since we didn't talk about it last week, what did you think of that whole episode? Cause
well, I thought it was way better.
yeah,
I thought it was good storytelling, good showing the couple in the that were
cabin.
denied entrance to the communist society, socialist society.
They were
That
denied. I
yeah,
thought
they
they were
said
just
like
out there.
some people like attacked or something like that, and some
Oh,
people
okay.
aren't allowed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was good seeing Joel and his brother's dynamic
Yeah.
together, and especially that episode. To me, it was a little sprung on a little early. Like Joel, like I can't do this no more. I'm not as fast
Right.
anymore. But
Didn't
I
feel
kind of
like it. Yeah.
understood it. But it based on the episodes we've seen, I didn't really get the sense that Joel really felt like he could no longer do what he's doing. But
Right.
you know, it's just so long from the travels and then
Right.
from each episode that maybe he did genuinely feel like he's slowing down.
Right.
But I mean, we just knew Ellie was not gonna go for no handoff. All right,
Nah.
Tommy's gonna take me and. But it
Nah.
was encouraging that when Tommy was like, "Yeah, we've taken this trip multiple times. It's like easy peasy." I'm like,
Right.
"All right, if it's so easy, then come with me." Like,
Yeah.
what's going
Exactly.
on?
Exactly. Like, and it would make it even more safe, like on the return trip or whatever, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, anything can
On that
happen.
day, just
Yeah.
happened to be Raiders. Come on now, Tommy, make
Right.
it make sense.
Right. Right. Um. But yeah, I liked Tommy in this one too because it was just like he stood up to Joel, and um at the end of the day he was his brother keeper type beat. Like he just held him down, even though he didn't really want to. And we never really got to see how that made his shorty feel, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, did she even know that was gonna happen? or like was he just like, you know, ask don't ask for permission, apologize after or whatever, you know. Um, but I just I just think the whole Joel slowing down, I felt it. I felt it because like the panic attacks really started happening in that episode. But like if you think
Yeah.
about like all the action scenes from like not all of them, but a lot of them, like Joel's getting snuck up on. His hearing is not as good. I didn't get that sentiment in the game, but or at least I don't remember if he ever said that. But it's like he's hard of hearing in one ear, and he's just you could really hear you can understand the toll that it has took over these what 20 something years since this whole thing has begun, and his life wasn't easy before this either, you know. So it's like to me it's understandable like that is a thing, but it did feel like he was running away.
Hmm.
It did feel like that, so I do agree with you there. um but yeah, man, because it's like was Joel even really going to stay, like if Tommy did take her? No, he was ready to leave anyway,
Yeah, he was
you
just
know.
gonna have to make that trip back, and I'm like,
Yeah, and it's like
it
what
just
you
all
even going
felt
back
like,
to?
yeah, yeah.
But
I just, it just reminds me like thinking now like, Joe, what is the plan?
yeah.
Are we just gonna, all right, drop her off, and you're gonna just go all the way back, or and deep
Mhm.
down in his mind, does he look at this whole trip as like a death sentence anyway? Like I'm gonna try it,
Yeah.
and most likely me getting there will be all that matters. But coming back, I'm not even worried about it because I probably won't make it back. You know?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Because it's like what was Tess and him even finna do for real? Like, like they was about to get the truck and go where? Like what's the difference? I don't know. Um
Yeah, good points. I mean, like good overall points of are kind of like what is Tess and Joel's goals
mhm.
before realizing, okay, maybe this is actually a cure and we could actually help society. Like
Right.
it just seems like their goals are, yeah, now we got some gas, we got some money, maybe we get some more food, a little better steak here or there, but it's kind of like,
Yeah.
dang, what else do you do under Fedra? You're just
Right. And it seemed at moments that Joel was getting a little bit of hope from being with Ellie, because when she asked him like what do you want to do after all this, like he started naming off things, and yeah, it was jokey and stuff like that, but
yeah.
it was more so like okay, bringing a lighthearted moment into this dull world, and I really like that. But after seeing the couple, with
Hmm.
the whole log cabin, I was like, dang, you should have been did that. And then because we got two versions of that. We got the cabin, and then we got Frank and
Yep.
Bill and Frank, right?
Yep.
Um, so which is like on the higher scale of things.
Hmm.
So it's just interesting seeing this joint play out, bro. But you know, this episode,
It's
the
just
last, go ahead.
kind of what you're saying is like we saw even like what it was like with just two people surviving all on their own. Like
Hmm.
Joel was even saw that whole thing. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
we don't we kind of don't know where Joel has like thought about, oh, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. But when Ellie asked him, what do you want to do now? It kind of does seem like he's like, man, I guess now I'm just gonna just make a farm and just relax. And it kind of just sounds like he's like, this is my last journey. I don't really
yeah,
have anything left.
right,
So
right. And especially with like to me, Pedro Pascal's interpretation or represent what's the word, portrayal of Joel has been a lot darker. Like it's been a lot like, dang, I'm still here. I'm still left, you know?
yeah, I'm still
Versus like
left.
the game where I feel like the game he had like a little bit more like pep in his step, and like it just the Joel and Ellie back and forth was a lot more like
Like Ellie
lighthearted.
put a pep in a step.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Yep.
now it's like I said, that last episode, dang, I can't do this. Like
Right.
I can't do this. He's like
Oh man.
the walk down the street is quite simple. You can definitely do that. And Joel's like, nope. Like
Nah.
I'm getting panic attacks now.
Right. Anxiety, hard of
Anxiety.
hearing. I just seen a kid take out his only brother, then take himself out. Like
Yeah.
he done seen
And it
some
is a
stuff,
lot in
man.
one
He done
trip.
seen some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like
only been a
maybe he
few
didn't get
months.
this crazy during him and Tessa's like uh missions.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe it wasn't like back to back to back to back. And Joel's
Right.
like, dang, this one trip, we going
Right.
through all the crazy towns.
Right. And we still only heard word of like what he was like during the times when like you said the missions and stuff when Tommy was with them. Type beat.
And why Tommy left him.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's a lot more to this that we ain't seen, bro. And this episode got to see a merry-go-round and some escalators.
Yeah, I mean, she loved the escalators more than merry-go-rounds.
I was like, yo. Oh man. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got for this one, man. You got anything else you want to add to it?
Not much. Like I said, I don't know if I can really ding these episodes. I really like
Right.
the Tommy episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like they're done well, but maybe
This episode was definitely a slow burn. Like it was,
the slow burn episode. I just kind of wish it impacted me more. Like I felt
yeah.
more emotionally attached to them actually getting bitten, but it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we know this is gonna happen. Kind of like as soon as they got them all, oh, it's crowded with infected. It was just like, all right, so the next 35 minutes are gonna be this. So it
We
was
lit.
solid, good backstory, but
Yeah, and I just thought
ending it
about it.
hard.
I just thought about it, bro. Like we go from seeing um Sam and uh dang, I'm blanking on his name.
Henry,
Sam and Henry, right? Sam. We go from Sam seeing him get bit, you know, and just how that make you feel
yep,
to Riley and um why am I blanking right now? Ellie.
Ellie,
Oh my goodness. We see them get bit and it's like the tensions were high, but this one it was just like it's
there
like
was too much
dang,
of the slow burn, man.
they got bit and this already happened. Like the other time it was real time, but the simple fact that this was a flashback took all the air out of it. Like it just was just
100%.
like, okay, this is what happened. You know?
Yeah,
We know Ellie's gonna survive and she not. And it's just like dang, that's rough. But maybe we get to see the kind of escape or something. Um from Ellie to get to Marlene or whatever, however that happens. Later on, but man, R.I.P. Riley, bro. That's all I got.
yeah. Sometimes those slow burns just make me close my eyes and go to sleep.
I'm geeked. I'm geeked. But I mean that's all I got. I ain't got nothing else. Chris, what you geeked about this week, man?
Ooh. Oh, Mando comes out Wednesday. I'm super
Oh,
geeked about that.
okay.
I wasn't too hyped on the trailers, but
Yeah.
man, there's something about the Mandalorian.
Another Pedro.
True, true. Joel in space, Space Joel.
Right.
There's something about the Mandalorian. I don't know why it just feels like a better version of like the Star Wars universe. Like when
Mm-hmm.
they had the book of
Boba Fett.
Boba,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Book of
Um,
Boba Fett.
like it had the same like kind of gist of the Mandalorian, but there's
Mm-hmm.
just something different when it's Mando. So
Yeah.
uh, I don't know what they're gonna do with the season. I'm just excited for it. I think we're finally visiting Mandalore, so
Mm-hmm.
uh, major stuff always happens on that planet, and I think it's gonna be a really good season. So
That's a
super
good
geeked
one.
about that. I think it's Wednesday night.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
What you geeked about, G?
I am getting. I didn't even know it was coming out this week. Forgot.
I barely
I
remembered.
forgot.
I,
But I'm geeked about a couple things. Y'all just know I got a couple things. So I thought you was gonna say Creed 3 coming out. That's what I thought you was gonna say. So
I did catch up. I watched both of them.
I gotta watch both of them this week, so I know what's going on. I watched the first one when it first came out, but the second one, I ain't see that because I was just like, Creed again. But this one got Jonathan Majors in it, and it's Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. So it should be freaking amazing, bro.
That's this weekend.
Yeah, yep. It comes out the 3rd. And then I'm also geeked because I got to see my favorite artist on Sunday, and that joint was crazy. Like, I'm not concert man, like large crowds. I'm not gonna say I'll be freaking
I thought
out.
You were surfing in that video. I thought you were crowd surfing.
Nah, I'm just 6'8", so I can just reach my arm all the way across.
Everyone, this man is so tall. The video, it was. Everyone is so much lower than where the video is getting taken. I was like, that must be nice.
I was like, I got the elite reach. You know what I'm saying? But that joint was freaking incredible, bro. Like Smino is my favorite artist all time. But then also, I mean, it's Jiz's tour, but Smino's like the guest or whatever. But they're more of a duo in this whole thing. But Smino went first, and then Jid went second. But Smino John was like, they both are elite, but stage presence is different. It's different, and
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm finna be a frequent concert grower because that line was around the block. I ain't gonna cap. It was cold outside, and I was just like, dang, like I hope this is worth it. But it was. It definitely was. And that joint was super fire, bruh. But you know, I'm gonna leave it off at that. I got some other stuff I'm geeked about, but
that one. I don't think
I can top that one. So I'm gonna just leave it off at that. So appreciate y'all for tuning in once again. This is a little shorter episode, but you know, we'll have a lot to talk about next week. We got Creed, we got Mandalorian, like it's finna go crazy. But appreciate y'all for tuning in once again this week, man. Hit the like button on your favorite social platforms and audio platforms. If you're listening to this, hit the like button on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. I know what to do, man. We'll catch y'all next week, man. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.
Dang, I got